Alright, how you guys doing today? Today's question is coming from r/AskReddit, coming from user/K_bakes, titled, Single People, what's it like being in the dating scene nowadays? First things first though, if you like the art, like the video. If you like my voice, like the video. Make sure you leave a comment. I don't care what you say, just say something. Months and months of online dating where you're spending money, going on first dates, trying your best, and nothing's happening. Then you start to consider maybe it's you, or you have too much dating fatigue and you need a break. Then you meet somebody and hit it off super quick right before you delete the app or take a break from dating. And things are moving so quickly that it's suspicious, so either you mess it up, they mess it up, or you just get ghosted. It's pretty bad, honestly. Online dating convenience has flooded the dating pool with competition, socially inept or borderline undateable people. This means that more horrible conversations happen, more issues with safety, rejection, and abuse, more bad dates, etc. The people who weren't able to enter the dating market previously now have a way to, via dating apps. Ghosting has become the norm as a result of the above, and on the flip side, if you manage to get into a relationship, people are more likely than ever to just call it quits after the first minor inconvenience. Lots of things are red flags, when in reality, it's a pretty easy thing to compromise or ask the person to figure out with you. It's like nobody's willing to put in the work anymore, and they stop believing in compromise altogether. I get that our parents and grandparents had to deal with a lot of crap, and some may have stayed together way past their time, but we've swung in the complete opposite direction. This extends way outside of dating, but social media and the internet has now conditioned people to constantly seek new stimulation, which leads people to not wanting to settle down, or at least having super high standards in order to do so. And I'd argue that social media has skewed our standards on physical beauty. Sure, we've had supermodels and celebrities for ages, but I think the notion that these weren't ordinary people was far more ingrained than now. But now influencers are a dime a dozen, so everyone's deluded themselves to think that beauty standards are super common, and therefore they're entitled to date somebody who looks like that. And all this means is that more than ever dating is a numbers game, and people get burned out emotionally, mentally, and sometimes literally physically or financially as they try to navigate the numbers. It's like an underwhelming treasure hunt in a dumpster. I feel like I'll never get married. Something I saw on Reddit and laughed at and agreed with was that online dating for women is like trying to find fresh water in a swamp, and for men, it's like trying to find fresh water in a desert. Absolutely horrible. It's almost impossible to get more than 2 dates anymore. All my peers, men and women, agree. And then someone said to that, I had a first date that seemed to go pretty well this week. She's going home for the holidays and she said she'll message me after she's back. I'm just mentally prepping to get ghosted. And then the guy said, that happened to me like 4 times this year already. It's awful and not fun at all. Online dating makes the whole thing feel like a job application process. I don't know what college is like now, but I miss going to new classes, or moving into new dorm rooms, being surrounded by new classmates and new neighbors, or on the weekends when everyone's trying to have a good time. It was so much easier to meet people of a similar age on a regular basis, and doing the whole dance of getting to know somebody was pretty fun, like trying to figure out who to talk to at a party that was close enough with one of my girlfriends to introduce me rather than having to awkwardly approach her myself, or finally getting somebody's number so you could take that conversation beyond class and text back and forth into the wee hours of the night. Now though, it reminds me of filling out my resume, but being asked to upload it anyway, only to never get an interview, or do the interview, that results in nothing because they just did it as a formality to make it look like they were trying to find somebody, rather than just give the job to the boss's nephew. And meeting a person in person is a massive effort that rarely amounts to anything. They say you should join clubs or go to classes, any setting where you're going to be social for a regular basis. Yeah, you try that. But don't be surprised when it's all dudes with the same idea, or just older married couples trying to find something to do with their empty nest. It just seems like the odds aren't in your favor as soon as you graduate college. Over the years, I've noticed that superficiality is becoming more of the norm. I've also noticed that people tend to be more uptight and scared to open up and be themselves. As little as 10 years ago, it wasn't like that at all. At least in my experience, when I dated. Compared to these present times, I was trying to settle down, but it's getting harder to find somebody and build a connection with. And then somebody commented to the uptight and scared to open up part. I noticed that too. It feels like they want to be more mysterious, but don't realize that that's turning the date into a KGB interrogation, and giving one-word replies and not asking anything back is not attractive. I remember one dude messaged me saying that I'm talking too much, and I was like, somebody had to talk. All you said was just some stuff after I asked what you did for work, and then you just stared at me silently. It's like a wasteland of wannabe influencers. I just want a nice person who I enjoy spending time with and doing simple things with. Then, if things go well, we could do more exciting and expensive things. Everyone is always looking for something better. No one seems to be able to hold a conversation, and my gosh, it's nearly impossible to get somebody to meet you in person. And then somebody commented on the not being able to hold a conversation part. I experienced this recently. I grabbed breakfast with somebody from Hinge, and I may as well have stopped at Home Depot and brought a fence post to talk to. She had no passions, no interest, no answer when I asked her where she wanted to travel to. I was getting more mental stimulation out of my hash browns than her conversation skills. People are flaky as fuck. They aren't trying or putting effort in, and not willing to have honest conversations. The flakiness is awful, and it's on all sides. If I tell you I'm gonna be somewhere, I'm gonna be there at that time. And I'm gonna move heaven and hell to make sure that I get there at that time. I hate people that you can't rely on, or you make plans and they show up 30-40 minutes late. Like, what the fuck is that? It's disrespectful of my time as well. Nobody's real anymore. I'd rather somebody tell me straight up they're not feeling me instead of just ghosting me. And then it just kills any chances of even being friends. And then somebody said, big agree. I'm very easygoing, but wasting my time is one of the worst offenses somebody can do. I've been same day flaked on 8 to 9 times, and it's so disheartening. Then I come off as clingy and overbearing to dates by day of texting, hey, are we still on for later? And making sure I don't leave until they tell me they're on their way. And then the guy commented again, yo, for real. I went on a Tinder date with this one chick. She showed up 40 minutes late for the time we agreed on. And then when I texted her at the time we agreed, she said she was walking her dog. And in my head, I'm like, are you serious? So she shows up and makes the whole thing about herself and then tries to get me to fuck her after. And I'm like, no. I just stay on the sidelines and wait for a miracle. I'll probably be single until I die. Sidelines are where people always catch the foul balls and still catch some winners. Winky face. I guess some people just like foul balls. No, please wash your balls. Oh, that's why I'm single. And somebody said, this is what I eventually did. I tried everything normal, like dating apps, meetup groups, and then my friends introduced me to people, etc., and nothing panned out. Dating apps are just full of people that seem like they want to commit to a relationship, but really don't. Meetup groups ended up being full of either extremely outgoing or extremely introverted people, and then it was just the same few people every time, and the same few people who came up with the ideas and plans. And most of it, even the outdoors ones, involved a short outdoor activity followed by just hanging out at the bar. Eventually, I just started doing whatever I wanted to and not trying to find a relationship. One day, a friend of mine invited me to go kickboxing. Normally, I would have just said no because I was too shy, but for whatever reason, I said yeah, and that sounds fun. I tried it. I really liked it. There were tons of normal people there, signed up for it, even though it required a 1-year commitment and was pretty expensive. I kept going. And the classes I went to ended up being the same people most of the time, and I started getting used to them and talking to them regularly. One particular woman really caught my eye, and through people talking about their weekends, I realized that we had similar interests. I started talking with her, and we partnered up for most of the partner drills pretty often. Eventually, we started texting outside of classes, hanging out after and chatting, etc. Finally got the nerve to ask her out, and she said yes. Fast forward almost 5 years, we're now married, and we had a baby. Sometimes all it takes is just waiting for it to come to you, rather than searching it out. Don't turn down the opportunities, but don't try as hard sometimes. Somebody said, I fully accept that I'm going to die alone and my cats are going to eat my body so nobody ever finds out. My soulmate's going to knock on my door soon. I feel it. That's what I said like 10 years ago. She never showed up. It's like somebody pissed in the dating pool. Alright, and that's going to be the end of the question. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day. Peace.